Control your first reaction. Control the outcome in every heated moment. You've got a split second window where your mind decides which way this situation is about to go. That tiny gap, that's your power. Most people don't even see it. They just explode. They let their emotions run the show. But if you learn to spot that gap and pause, you can turn an argument into a solution, a disaster into a breakthrough. You see, the world will always give you something to react to. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your coworker takes credit for your idea. Your child talks back. In that instant, you can either let your emotions grab the wheel, or you can grip the wheel yourself. That choice determines if you're about to create peace or chaos. Your first reaction is like striking a match. Once it's lit, you can't unburn what you set on fire. People have lost jobs, marriages, friendships, and opportunities, not because they were wrong, but because they reacted too fast, too loud, too strong. The moment you feel your voice rising, your pulse racing, your mind spinning, that's the moment you've got to hit the brakes. Take a deep breath, even if it's just 3 seconds. Those 3 seconds can save you from a lifetime of regret. Calm doesn't mean you're a pushover. Calm means you're in charge of yourself. The loudest person in the room isn't the strongest. Most of the time, it's the one losing control. The strongest person is the one who can stand in the middle of chaos and still think straight. People will call you too calm, like it's an insult. They'll say, "Aren't you mad? Don't you want to say something?" But here's the truth. When you stay calm, you're not ignoring the problem. You're giving yourself the advantage to handle it with precision instead of emotion. Think about boxers. The great ones don't throw wild punches just because they're angry. They wait for the right moment, the right angle, the perfect strike. Your words and actions should be the same. Strategic, not sloppy. You can train this. It's not some gift people are born with. It's a discipline you build. The next time something irritates you, instead of reacting, watch yourself. Notice how your body tenses, how your breathing changes. That awareness is the start of your control. And let's be honest, most things that make us blow up aren't even worth the energy. They're temporary frustrations that pass in minutes, but our reactions, they leave footprints that last for years. I've seen people who can walk through the most disrespectful situations without flinching, and later they address it with such calm power that everyone takes them seriously. That's not weakness, that's mastery, but here's where most folks go wrong. They think staying calm means doing nothing. No, staying calm means you respond instead of react. Responding is deliberate. Reacting is impulsive. One builds respect. The other destroys it. Your first reaction sets the tone. If you meet anger with anger, the situation escalates. If you meet anger with calm, you shift the whole energy. Even people who came to argue start second, guessing themselves when they see they can't rattle you. And remember, the goal isn't to win every battle, it's to win the war. Sometimes holding your tongue in the moment means you'll win the bigger victory later. Practice this in small ways. When you spill coffee on yourself, when your package arrives late, when the internet goes down, don't let those moments train you to lose your cool. Let them train you to keep it. Because here's the truth. If you can master your first reaction, you can master almost any outcome in life. Stop letting people push your buttons if someone can push your buttons. That means they've got the remote control to your emotions. And let me tell you, some people will keep pressing every button they can just to see you jump. They're not doing it by accident. They're doing it because they know it works. You've got to take the batteries out of that remote. That means you stop giving people easy access to your mood. Not every comment deserves a comeback. Not every insult deserves your attention. The more you react, the more they'll keep trying. Some folks thrive on chaos. They're only happy when they've stirred the pot and got you boiling. The best way to frustrate those people is to stay so calm that their little games stop being fun. You have to understand, when people can provoke you, they can predict you, and if they can predict you, they can manipulate you. That's how you end up dancing to someone else's tune without even realizing it. Your goal should be to become so emotionally unshakable that people can't even tell if they've bothered you. You might notice the disrespect, but you don't show it. You let them wonder. That mystery is power. When you don't react, you take away their favorite weapon, control over your emotions. Now they've got to find a new target because you've stopped being the easy one to mess with. People who are constantly provoking others are often battling their own insecurities. They can't stand seeing you peaceful because your peace exposes their lack of it. Don't fall into the trap of lowering yourself to their level just to prove a point. Think of it like driving. If someone cuts you off, you can either chase them and risk your safety, or you can slow down, let them go, and keep your journey smooth. Your calm is you choosing the second option in every situation. When you allow people to push your buttons, you're giving them permission to waste your energy. And energy is too expensive to spend on nonsense. You've got dreams to build, goals to reach, and a life to live. Sometimes people will test you just to see how you'll respond. The first few times, it might be hard to hold back. But the more you practice keeping your cool, the more they'll see it's not worth trying anymore. And here's the truth. When you master not reacting, people will start respecting you differently. They'll see you as someone they can't play with, someone whose attention is earned, not demanded. Being unbothered doesn't mean you're ignoring problems. It means you're dealing with them on your own terms, not on the emotional schedule of someone trying to push you over the edge. This skill will change your relationships, your workplace, and your life. The less control others have over your reactions, the more control you have over your results. It's not about never feeling upset. It's about not letting that upset run your mouth, your actions, or your decisions. You feel it, you process it, and then you choose how to respond. Once you stop letting people push your buttons, you'll discover a kind of freedom most people never find. The freedom to live on your own emotional terms. Learn to see beyond the moment. Most people ruin their peace because they're trapped in the right now. They feel something, they react, and then they regret it later. But calm people, people with wisdom, they zoom out. They don't just see the tree in front of them. They see the whole forest. That's the difference between panic and patience. Panic says, this is the end. Patience says, this is just one chapter. And when you train your mind to see beyond the moment, you start making decisions that serve your future, not just your feelings. Ask yourself this one question every time you're about to react. Will this matter a year from now? If the answer is no, you've just saved yourself hours, maybe even years, of unnecessary stress. People lose relationships, jobs, and opportunities because they let temporary feelings cause permanent damage. What feels like the end of the world today might be something you barely remember a month from now. This doesn't mean you ignore problems. It means you put them in perspective. A flat tire feels like the worst thing in the morning, but it won't matter at all in 5 years. So why treat it like it will? When you can see beyond the moment, you start to notice that storms don't last forever. Every difficult season you've ever had eventually passed. That means this one will too. Your calmness comes from that confidence. Think about how many times you've worried yourself sick over something, only to realize later it wasn't even worth it. All that time, energy, and mental space gone. When you react based only on the moment, you often miss the bigger blessings that are coming. Sometimes the delay, the denial, or the difficulty you're facing is setting you up for something far better than you can see right now. Seeing beyond the moment requires trust, not just in yourself, but in the process of life. You might not understand why something is happening right now, but later you'll look back and say, "Oh, that's why." The ability to hold your peace in the present because you know the future will make sense. That's maturity. That's emotional strength. People who can't see beyond the moment make the same mistakes over and over. They argue over every small offense, quit every time it gets hard, and sabotage their own progress because they can't stand the discomfort of waiting. But when you step back, take a breath and look at the bigger picture, you make better moves. You stop chasing every small win and start building for the long run. Life is like a puzzle. You can't judge the whole picture by one piece. That's why calm people don't panic when one piece looks ugly. They know it's just part of something beautiful being built. So next time something tries to pull you into drama, pause and zoom out. Ask yourself, how will this look to me in the future? That question alone can change your entire mood. When you live with that long view, you'll stop letting small storms shake you. You'll walk through them knowing the sun's still going to come out. And when it does, you'll be standing stronger than before. Your peace is more valuable than proving a point. There's something in all of us that wants to be right. We want to have the last word. We want people to know we weren't wrong, and we want them to admit it. But here's the truth. Proving a point often costs you more than it's worth. Some arguments aren't worth your time because they don't add a thing to your life. You can win the debate and still lose your peace. And what good is being right? If you're left exhausted, frustrated, and drained, you've got to decide what's more valuable: the satisfaction of winning a little battle, or the preservation of your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. 9 times out of 10, peace is the better prize. The ego will whisper, "Don't let them get away with it." But wisdom says, let them talk, let them think they won. You've got bigger battles to fight. Your calmness shows you value your future more than their opinion. When you argue with someone who's committed to misunderstanding you, you waste your breath. Some people don't want clarity. They want conflict. They thrive on it, and when you step away, you're not losing. You're refusing to play their game. Think about it. Your peace is the environment where your creativity, joy, and focus grow. When you sacrifice that environment just to prove a point, you're destroying the very thing that makes you effective. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've decided the conversation isn't worth the cost. It means you've chosen peace over pride. That's not weakness. That's strength in disguise. You'll notice something powerful. When you stop trying to prove yourself to everyone, life feels lighter. You're no longer carrying the weight of convincing people who are never going to see it your way anyway. Peace is a currency more valuable than money. You can get money back. You can get opportunities back. But once peace is gone, you can spend years trying to restore it. That's why you guard it like treasure. Some people will accuse you of avoiding the truth when you choose not to argue. But you know the truth doesn't need defending from everyone. Sometimes silence is the loudest statement you can make. When you let go of the need to prove a point, you become untouchable. People realize they can't bait you into pointless fights, and they start respecting the boundaries you set. Proving a point is often about impressing the crowd, but the crowd's opinion is fickle. It changes with the wind. Peace, on the other hand, keeps you steady no matter what people are saying. Ask yourself, if I win this argument but lose my peace, is it really a win? The answer is almost always no. You've got to protect your peace like you protect your home. You wouldn't let just anybody walk in and trash your living room. So why let anyone come in and wreck your mental space? At the end of the day, when you lay your head down, peace will help you sleep far better than proving a point ever will. Master the art of silence under pressure when pressure is high. Most people panic and speak without thinking. They spill every thought, every emotion, and every fear out into the open. But the ones who hold the real power, they're the ones who can stay silent and let the storm pass before they speak. Silence under pressure isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's knowing that every word you say when emotions are high has the power to either build bridges or burn them down. People expect you to react quickly when things go wrong. They expect you to snap, to yell, to defend yourself instantly. When you don't, it unsettles them. It makes them wonder what you're thinking, and that uncertainty works in your favor. Silence forces you to think before you act. It gives you a moment to gather your facts, calm your emotions, and plan your next move with precision. There's a reason great leaders don't jump into every argument. They know timing is everything. Sometimes the best move is to say nothing until the noise dies down and everyone's ready to listen. When you speak in the heat of the moment, you often say things you can't take back. But when you pause, you choose words that carry weight instead of regret. Silence is a shield. It protects you from people who want to twist your words, from those who are baiting you into saying something they can use against you. There's also power in letting people underestimate you. When you're quiet, they might think you don't have anything to say, until the moment you choose to speak, and every word lands like a hammer. Silence also gives you the chance to truly listen. Most people listen only to respond, not to understand. But when you're calm and quiet, you can hear not just what's being said, but what's not being said. In high-pressure situations, emotions can be like wild horses. If you don't hold the reins, they'll run you off a cliff. Silence is you holding the reins tightly until you decide where to go. There's an old saying, never let your enemy know your next move. Silence ensures they don't. It keeps your strategy hidden until you're ready to reveal it. In personal relationships, silence can stop an argument from turning into a war. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is let the other person talk themselves out while you stand firm and calm. Silence is not about ignoring problems. It's about creating space for clarity. In that space, you can see the situation from angles you'd miss if you rushed to speak. The next time you feel cornered, don't feel pressured to fill the air with words. Sometimes, the most powerful answer you can give is none at all. Mastering silence under pressure makes you unpredictable, unshakable, and undeniably powerful. Because when the whole room is loud, the quiet voice is the one that commands the most respect. Prepare your mind before the storm comes. You can't wait until the storm hits to decide how you're going to handle it. If you do, you'll be scrambling, panicking, and making decisions from a place of fear instead of strength. Calmness in chaos isn't built in the chaos, it's built before the chaos even starts. Think about it like this. No pilot learns how to fly in the middle of a thunderstorm. They train in clear skies so that when the turbulence comes, their hands and mind already know what to do. You've got to train your mind the same way. Life will test you. People will test you. Circumstances will test you. The worst time to learn how to control your emotions is when they're already on fire. You've got to prepare before the heat comes. How do you prepare? You practice calmness in the small, everyday situations. When someone takes too long in line, when your phone dies in the middle of an important call, when the traffic won't move you, use those moments to build patience. Most people waste those little annoyances by complaining. But those moments are actually training opportunities. Every time you choose to breathe instead of snap, you're building muscle in your mind. The same way an athlete trains before game day, you have to train before life's big challenges. The athlete doesn't wait until the championship to get in shape. They prepare all year so they're ready when it counts. Too many people think calmness is something that magically appears when they need it. No, calmness is a habit. It's a way of thinking, built over time through consistent practice. You can tell who's prepared and who's not by how they act when trouble comes. The unprepared person falls apart, makes impulsive choices, and digs a deeper hole. The prepared person, they move slow, think clearly, and keep their balance. If you want to stay calm in any situation, start your day by strengthening your mind. Read, pray, meditate. Whatever helps you ground yourself before the world starts making demands. Preparation is also about self-control. It's saying no to the little urges that make you reactive so you can say yes to the discipline that makes you resilient. When you prepare your mind, you can stand in the middle of chaos and still think straight. You're not pretending the storm isn't there. You're simply refusing to let it decide how you move. It's like a building with a strong foundation. The winds can howl, the rain can pound, but the building stands because the base was built to withstand it. Your mind needs that same foundation. The storms of life don't send invitations. They show up unannounced. And when they do, you don't want to be caught untrained and unprepared. The time to prepare is now, not when you're already in trouble. You train today so you can survive tomorrow. You practice in peace so you can perform in pressure. When you've prepared your mind before the storm comes, you don't just survive the storm. You walk through it with a calm that makes people wonder how you're even standing. Let God handle what you can't control. One of the greatest sources of stress is trying to control things that were never yours to control in the first place. You can plan, prepare, and put in the work, but there comes a point where the outcome is out of your hands. That's when you have to let it go and trust God to handle it. Some of you are exhausted, not because life is too heavy, but because you're carrying burdens that were never meant for you. You're trying to fix people, change situations, and force results that only God can bring. Calmness often begins the moment you accept, "This part is not my job anymore." It's the moment you stop wrestling with what's beyond your reach and start resting in the fact that there's a higher plan in motion. You can't see the whole picture right now, but God can. You don't know what's waiting around the corner, but He does, and sometimes the delay, the detour, or the denial is part of a protection you won't understand until later. Letting go doesn't mean you give up. It means you've done your part, and now you're stepping back to let Him do His. That's not quitting, that's wisdom. When you hold on too tightly, you're telling God, "I don't trust you to take care of this." But when you release it, you're saying, "I believe you can handle this better than I ever could." That's where true peace comes from. Many of the things you're losing sleep over right now are things that will work themselves out if you just stop meddling and start trusting. Sometimes the reason God hasn't moved yet is because you haven't stopped trying to play His role. You're so busy trying to control the storm that you're not letting Him calm it. There's freedom in admitting, "I don't have the answers," because the moment you stop pretending you're in control, you open the door for God's answers to show up. Every time you've been through something you didn't think you'd survive, you came out on the other side. Not because you had everything figured out, but because God made a way. And He'll do it again. Calmness doesn't just come from discipline, it comes from faith. The kind of faith that says, "Even if I don't know how this ends, I know who's writing the story." You can't control the timing. You can't control the method. You can't control other people. But you can control your trust, your patience, and your peace while you wait. The truth is, peace and control rarely live in the same place. The more you try to control everything, the less peace you have. The more you surrender, the more peace you gain. Every day you have a choice: stress over it or surrender it, worry about it or worship through it. Carry it yourself or hand it over to the one who knows exactly what to do with it. When you finally let God handle what you can't control, you stop living like a firefighter, chasing flames, and start living like a child who knows their father has it covered. That's the kind of calm that nothing and no one can take away. There's one thing you need to remember. Calm isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you decide to master. The world is loud, unpredictable, and full of people who will test you every single day. But when you train your mind to stay calm in any situation, You stop living like a puppet being pulled by every string around you. You start living like a leader, standing firm in the middle of the storm. You've learned that your first reaction can set the tone for everything. You've learned not to let people push your buttons, because once they can control your emotions, they can control your life. You've learned to see beyond the moment, to protect your peace instead of your pride, to master silence under pressure, and to prepare before the storms come. And most importantly, you've learned that the ultimate calm comes from letting God handle what you can't control. See, life will not slow down just because you're stressed. People will not stop provoking you just because you want peace. The storms won't disappear just because you're tired of them. That's why your strength must come from within, and your peace must be guarded like your greatest treasure. Every time you choose calmness over chaos, you're not just making life easier, you're making life stronger. You're training yourself to be unstoppable, unshakable, and untouchable. You're teaching the world that your mood, your mind, and your mission are not up for grabs. From this day forward, don't just hope for peace, create it. Don't just wish for calm, practice it. And the next time life tries to pull you into a storm, stand tall, breathe deep, and remember, you don't have to match the noise around you. You can be the quiet, steady, unshakable force that changes the whole atmosphere.